drink water every day. Maybe you even brought some along on this walk. But have you ever thought about where that water comes from and what else might be in it? An important issue with groundwater is water quality. We all want to drink clean water, but there are contamination concerns in both rural and urban areas.
In rural areas, we worry more about agricultural contaminants from manure disposal, for example, fertilizers, pesticides. In the northern part of Dane County, where we have a lot of ag, and there are high nitrate levels, which comes mostly from fertilizer and manure disposal. In the urban areas, one of the problems we're working on is viruses in groundwater. We're finding viruses in some of the municipal wells. If you think about Madison, there's a whole network of sanitary sewers under our feet, under the streets here. Things can leak out of those sewers, including viruses, bacteria, metals, and other things, and so we monitor groundwater for those.
To combat these contaminants, cities add chlorine to drinking water. Other contaminants are naturally occurring and come out of the rocks surrounding the groundwater. These include arsenic, manganese, and chromium. Cities regularly test drinking water for these natural contaminants.
Chlorine is added by the water utility at each well. Chlorine kills bacteria, viruses, any other biological pathogens like that are infectious. Chlorination doesn't do anything with metals or nitrate, something like that, but it kills living organisms.
Rural groundwater wells are less likely to be contaminated by sewer systems and are not typically chlorinated.
In rural areas, people that have private wells, people are on their own for testing their water. And so one of the things that we find is people probably don't test their own wells often enough. We recommend at least once per year, test for bacteria, nitrates, chlorides, and other naturally occurring things.
Let's take a look inside a Madison groundwater pumping station.
This is one of the production wells for the City of Madison Water Utility. They have about 22 production wells across the city. The well itself is about 1,000 feet deep, and when you go in the building, you'll see that there is a lot of infrastructure in there. There's a motor that drives the pump that's in the deep well itself. That can pump, I think, up to about 2,000 gallons per minute, although it's not always run at that speed. That pumps the groundwater into the reservoir, which is connected to the building here. And then there's a couple of different pumps that can move water from, they're referred to as booster pumps, and they move water from the reservoir out into the delivery system for the city. On the other side of this building is the chemical storage room, and that's where chlorine and fluoride are stored, and those are added to the water so that it's disinfected and fluoridated prior to delivery across the city.
What can be done to protect our groundwater? In agricultural areas, farmers should only apply as much fertilizer and manure as needed. Owners of private wells should be sure to keep them in good repair. The well casings should be in good condition, the well should have a cover on the top, and the well should not be located where water can run off into it during rainstorms. Importantly, owners should test their wells annually for contaminants. In cities, sewer infrastructure should be well maintained, and urban planning and construction projects should be aware of groundwater springs and work to protect them. Wisconsin researchers continue to study groundwater quality issues in order to protect all people who depend on the water.
Here in Madison and surrounding communities, we think viruses are leaking out of sewers, getting into the deep groundwater system. So we have a study about that to see how the viruses are moving, how fast they're getting there, and what kind of viruses they are.
Let's talk. What groundwater contaminants might be of most concern where you live? Also, what are some things you can do to improve the quality of your drinking water?